Oh, wow, look at that!
This discovery changed everything. Alcatraz Island, known globally as America's most infamous prison, held secrets far beyond anyone's imagination. For decades, tourists wandered through its cold cells, believing they'd seen it all. But in 2025, routine renovations uncovered something astonishing.
Now a new study finds there are hidden buildings and tunnels underneath the prison yard.
I never seen something like this.
Hidden tunnels beneath the prison yard revealed chambers untouched by time, sealed behind walls never listed in any blueprint. Inside lay cryptic documents, mysterious equipment, and artifacts that defied explanation. The deeper investigators went, the darker the story became. Why were these passages concealed so meticulously? The truth hidden beneath Alcatraz was far stranger and far darker than anyone ever imagined. Hidden in plain sight. Alcatraz Island, a bleak symbol of imprisonment, always fascinated visitors with stories of its notorious inmates. Beneath its crumbling cells, however, an entirely unknown world waited patiently, hidden behind expertly disguised walls. The discovery happened by accident during a museum expansion. Workers found a wall whose stones didn't match historical records, sparking immediate curiosity. Upon closer inspection, this anomaly concealed a carefully constructed barrier, painstakingly camouflaged to blend seamlessly with the prison's architecture. Removing the wall revealed a dark, narrow tunnel, air stale and untouched by decades of isolation. Authorities, quickly called in, stood perplexed. This wasn't just forgotten maintenance infrastructure, it was deliberately hidden. Federal agents and historians scoured prison archives, discovering nothing about this structure. Official blueprints and historical documents omitted any mention of it. How had something so significant evaded detection for so long? The tunnel was built with precision, suggesting considerable resources and intent behind its construction. Its deliberate concealment raised troubling questions. What had been its purpose? Had it hidden prisoners or something far more secretive? The authorities' initial shock turned to unease. The discovery disrupted the narrative carefully maintained for decades. Alcatraz was supposed to be transparent, its dark past fully exposed to history. Yet now, this hidden tunnel, meticulously concealed beneath one of the most studied historical sites, revealed that what was visible above ground had always been only part of the story. Investigators realized this passage was only the beginning of uncovering Alcatraz's buried history, one carefully hidden and intentionally forgotten. The uncharted corridor. Stepping cautiously into the newly discovered tunnel, investigators quickly sensed something unusual. This wasn't an abandoned utility corridor or a hastily built escape route. The tunnel was reinforced by steel supports, precisely arranged and remarkably robust. Initial theories of forgotten infrastructure quickly collapsed under scrutiny. This structure was purpose-built, sophisticated, and intentionally hidden. Scientists performed metallurgical analyses, discovering something even more puzzling. The steel supports dated to 1921, years before Alcatraz's use as a federal penitentiary. This revelation stunned historians. Alcatraz had a meticulously documented past, transitioning from military fortification to federal prison. Every construction phase was recorded, but no historical record accounted for these mysterious supports. The discovery hinted at deeper complexities. Was the tunnel constructed before Alcatraz was transformed into its notorious penitentiary? And if so, for what purpose? Investigators proceeded further, documenting every step. The tunnel stretched downward, deeper beneath the prison yard than anyone imagined possible. The air grew colder and denser, pressing heavily upon them. This wasn't just secrecy, it was containment. Why had someone built such an elaborate hidden structure decades before the federal prison existed? Every carefully placed support and deliberate concealment suggested extreme significance. Investigators began questioning whether the tunnel was intended for prisoner movement or if it concealed something far darker, hidden intentionally from historical records. As they ventured deeper, unease turned to apprehension, a realization growing clearer with each step. Alcatraz's notorious reputation as a secure prison had always masked something much stranger beneath its fortified surface. The secret chamber. The tunnel eventually opened into a hidden chamber sealed behind a rusted door. Opening it required immense effort, as if whoever concealed it intended the space to remain inaccessible forever. Once inside, investigators encountered a space frozen in time. Shelves lining the walls held meticulously organized documents, maps, and fragile papers. But these weren't typical prison archives or guard records. Instead, investigators found strange maritime charts, encrypted texts, and obscure symbols etched onto aging paper. Immediately clear was the deliberate arrangement of documents. Whoever left them intended them to be discovered, yet not easily understood. In the center stood primitive radio devices, wires exposed yet carefully preserved. Experts confirmed these radios were not designed for ordinary prison communication. They appeared purpose-built for espionage or surveillance activities. The chamber's contents hinted at activities well beyond Alcatraz's official history. Investigators grew increasingly unsettled. Each artifact raised new, disturbing questions. Had Alcatraz been secretly repurposed for covert operations? Were inmates unknowingly housed atop a clandestine intelligence center? The artifacts suggested extensive surveillance, possibly targeting high-level figures far beyond prison walls. The presence of encryption methods used by Cold War-era intelligence agencies strongly suggested this chamber operated as a covert monitoring facility. Investigators stood silent, considering the implications. Had this secret chamber monitored people, governments, or threats unknown to history? It became clear Alcatraz held secrets far deeper than simple incarceration. This hidden chamber was only the tip of something much larger, concealed beneath layers of carefully maintained silence. Lost communications. At the heart of the chamber, investigators discovered primitive radio equipment, wires exposed but meticulously arranged. These devices were clearly not intended for prison communications. They hinted at activities much darker and more complex than routine surveillance. Alongside them were metal boxes sealed with careful precision. Inside were reel-to-reel tapes bearing encrypted communications identified by experts as consistent with sophisticated Cold War-era espionage techniques. These messages didn't mention prisoners or guards. Instead, they referenced covert military operations and surveillance of high-level government figures. Alcatraz had always been seen as a prison. Now, evidence suggested it also served as a clandestine listening post. These discoveries rewrote history. This wasn't just containment of criminals, but strategic containment of intelligence, hidden deliberately from public scrutiny. Investigators realized Alcatraz might have operated secretly as a central hub in intelligence-gathering networks, well beyond its known use as a penitentiary. The puzzle grew more complex, the picture darker and far more alarming. Now first, like always, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously with the reach of this video. Thank you. The real escape. Beneath a corroded panel, hidden away for decades, investigators uncovered a chilling secret: 5 skeletal remains, carefully arranged upright with hands clasped as if in solemn ritual. These were no ordinary prisoners or guards. Their uniforms were pristine, remarkably preserved despite the years, yet bore strange insignia unrecognizable to any known military, intelligence agency, or prison authority. The symbols sparked more questions than answers. Who were these figures? And why had they been deliberately hidden deep beneath Alcatraz? Beside the remains, sealed containers held biological samples, vacuum-sealed, labeled with complex codes indecipherable even to experts. DNA tests revealed no matches in existing databases. The evidence suggested these individuals were part of secretive operations, possibly linked to covert government projects or intelligence activities erased from public memory. The placement and care taken implied a level of reverence or importance, not simply a hidden burial. The discovery sent ripples through the investigation. Alcatraz was not merely a prison, but a vault for dangerous secrets and people too sensitive for ordinary incarceration. The skeletal remains hinted at shadowy experiments or containment far beyond criminal justice, raising fears of what else might lie buried in these hidden chambers. For decades, these bodies lay in silence, a grim reminder of forgotten stories and concealed histories. This revelation forced a reckoning with Alcatraz's dark past, suggesting the island's true purpose stretched beyond imprisonment, guarding secrets, lives, and dangers that were never meant to see the light of day. Bodies of evidence. As if uncovering the hidden chamber wasn't unsettling enough, the true shock came when investigators found skeletal remains carefully positioned behind a concealed wall panel. These were not prisoners nor guards. They wore pristine uniforms marked with unfamiliar insignia. The symbols defied identification, belonging neither to known military nor intelligence groups. Beside these mysterious figures lay sealed biological samples, tagged with complex codes. Clearly, these individuals were part of something highly secretive, carefully hidden even from high-ranking officials. The carefully preserved remains posed chilling questions. Who were these people, and why had their deaths been kept so meticulously concealed? Why had Alcatraz, already notorious, been chosen to hold these secrets? DNA testing commenced, but early results only deepened the mystery, linking these remains to no known database. The implications were staggering. Whatever Alcatraz concealed was dangerous enough to erase from all official memory, hidden behind barriers intended never to be breached. The Cold War shadows. The investigation unveiled another disturbing layer. Detailed surveillance logs and sophisticated espionage equipment pointed to Cold War-era intelligence operations. The hidden chambers weren't holding cells. They were strategic command centers for covert surveillance and possibly the containment of high-value intelligence assets. These findings suggested Alcatraz had been repurposed secretly, exploiting its isolation and security for clandestine operations far beyond simple incarceration. Detailed room-by-room logs revealed intense monitoring of various individuals, suggesting a sophisticated espionage network embedded within prison walls. This explained the elaborate tunnel structures, meticulously constructed not to contain prisoners, but to securely facilitate secret communications and operations. What began as a historical curiosity rapidly evolved into a profound revelation about the true nature of Alcatraz. It was a front for espionage, intelligence, and perhaps darker activities still not fully understood. Its history was far more complex and sinister than ever imagined. Concealment, not confinement. As the pieces fell into place, one thing became increasingly clear. Alcatraz was never primarily about confinement. Its most hidden layers were dedicated to concealment, masking operations of critical strategic importance. Documents named Warden's Shadow described extensive efforts to suppress public knowledge, ensuring operations remained permanently hidden. These records described elaborate psychological experiments, clandestine intelligence gathering, and high-level strategic containment. The infamous prison was just the surface facade, carefully maintained to divert attention from deeper operations. This explained the extreme secrecy, reinforced structures, and elaborate concealment methods discovered throughout the hidden chambers. Authorities began re-examining old files, realizing official records were meticulously altered, ensuring the truth remained buried. The island's entire narrative was carefully crafted to maintain silence, keeping dangerous secrets far from public view. Now, the truth about Alcatraz was finally surfacing, threatening to rewrite history completely. Deeper mysteries uncovered. Every discovery seemed only to lead deeper into the unknown. Maps, strange maritime routes, and encrypted messages hinted at global connections far beyond the isolated prison island. Could Alcatraz have served as part of a larger international espionage network? Its tunnels leading metaphorically and perhaps literally far beyond its shores? The detailed nautical charts and cryptic messages pointed towards global espionage networks. Investigators uncovered coded references to clandestine operations that reached across oceans and continents. These new revelations challenged the accepted history of Alcatraz profoundly. What other secrets lie hidden, still undiscovered, beneath layers of carefully maintained silence? Authorities scrambled to decode messages, realizing the scope of Alcatraz's hidden operations might never fully be understood. What initially seemed just a prison was now a puzzle, its true purpose extending far beyond incarceration or even basic intelligence gathering. It had become clear, Alcatraz was never what it appeared. The burden of truth. As revelations surfaced, authorities faced uncomfortable truths. The public image of Alcatraz as a tourist site and historical curiosity now masks deeper, darker layers. Officials grappled with how to disclose findings responsibly, balancing public curiosity against national security implications. The newly discovered secrets posed tough ethical questions. What should remain hidden? How much could safely be revealed without risking national security or public panic? Alcatraz, forever changed by discoveries hidden beneath its concrete facade, was now a complex legacy. The investigations continued, knowing that deeper secrets remained buried, carefully shielded by time, silence, and layers of intentional deception. The true extent of Alcatraz's hidden history might never fully emerge, its mysteries forever haunting the island's darkened halls. Yet the truth was now partly revealed, a burden that reshaped everything known about this infamous prison. Alcatraz's secrets, buried beneath concrete and silence, have forever changed our understanding of this infamous island. What once seemed a simple prison now reveals a complex web of espionage, containment, and hidden histories. These discoveries force us to question how much of history remains unseen, concealed by those in power. As new layers emerge, Alcatraz stands not just as a symbol of incarceration, but as a reminder that beneath the surface of our known world lie shadows and secrets waiting to be uncovered. The story of Alcatraz is far from over. Its mysteries endure, whispering from the depths.